In this question, we've been asked to draw a tan angle or tan ratio of 1.4. And it doesn't tell us the quadrant. So I'm just going to draw it in quadrant 1 to start. Okay, so there's my, it's about 1.4, maybe more like this. And so that's going to be about 1.4 to 1. Actually, I'm going to draw that a little bit more accurately. Let's draw a little bit more like this. About 1.4 to 1 is our ratio. Now, this angle, this slope can also be found in this quadrant down here. Okay, so we can also draw this in quadrant 3. And it gives us the same ratio, but now -1 and -1.4 would be the positioning of that angle. Okay, so we've drawn the angle in standard position. We want to find the sine and cos trig ratio. So to do that, we need to find the hypotenuse or the radius. So the radius we're going to find using 1 squared plus 1.4 squared, and then square root that value. Since it is a decimal value, we are going to, and we started with decimal values, we're just going to round that to 1.72. So I'm not going to keep it as an exact value. I'm going to just round that to 1.72. So then writing the sine, cos, and trig ratios, we have two possibilities. So the sine ratio can be 1.4 over 1.72. And that angle is, that ratio, if I do 1.4 divided by 1.72, that's going to give me 0.814. Okay, and that's going to be the positive version of that. I'm going to call that theta 1. We also have a sine ratio of -1.4 over 1.72. And so that's going to give us -0.814. The cosine ratio, we're going to have 1 over 1.72. And so 1 divided by 1.72 is going to give us the decimal ratio of 0.581. And then we also have the cosine ratio for the other position, which is going to be -1 over 1.72. And that works out to -0.581. And then lastly, we have tan. We've already been given the tan ratio, and we know it's positive, so I'm not going to bother writing that one down. So the sine and trig cos ratios have been given. Now the angle theta, well, based on the tan ratio of 1.4, I'm going to do an arctan on that, and doing an arctan of 1.4, we end up with 54.46 degrees. Okay, so that angle here would be our theta 1 angle in quadrant 1. That one is 54.46 degrees. Now, because the quadrant is not known, we have to consider that this could have been in quadrant 3, the blue position there, which I'm going to call theta 2. And that angle is on the other side of the circle, so we're going to add 180, and that gives us 234.46 degrees. So this one that I've given is, we're going to just label that one theta 1, and then theta 2 is going to be the other angle all the way on the other side of the circle, or plus 180 degrees, which is 234.46.